Let's talk some toys in here.
Hey, what's going on today? It's the man child. All right, so I finally got in some new Spawn. Got in my Spawn throne set I was waiting for. Looks pretty cool, you know. Nice box. The throne's looking it's interesting. And the Spawn too. I like it. It's finally cool to have a Spawn that goes with a throne that's highly articulated as the old. So this was basically another reimagined remake version, you want to call it that, of the older Spawn throne. It was released in the mid 2000s. I do have that. We'll get to compare it, but I like having articulated Spawn a little better. I can already see some pros and cons though. It's just stuff like the plastic chains versus metal and things like that. But for what it is, I'm excited to have it. And here's a back of a box, right? It's that famous art. It was in the comic book where it was that whole throne, this, you know, that the sculpture itself was inspired from. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Now you notice he has in this the unmasked or the hamburger head. Spinning this back around. It would have been cool if you had an alternate head. I don't see it. You get the masked version, but you know, it is what it is. All right, so this is everything you get in the box. All right, check that out. So the first item is the throne, right? We'll check that out. Let's bring that in for a closer look with the detail. Yeah, pretty cool. Little skulls of sculptures. Got some buzzsaws, a piece of saw going there. It's all the garbage, just very identical to what you see in the comic book or that art. Looks like a motorcycle, and right, stuff sculpted all the way to where in the seat where you sit. Yeah, skulls all over. I like that. Look at that one melted. It's pretty cool. It's got some gun pouches down in there. Kinds of these are centipedes and stuff. It'd be cool if they were painted, but everything's the only thing. Other thing I can see painted is the skulls. Flipping it around, kind of your back. Check out detail. Got some like spinal pieces in there. Kinds of bones. Pretty cool. And this is just the top piece it comes with. Got some other rib bones and stuff hanging out. Some more skulls. Detail on that. And this piece is just going to plug in like so. That's it, right? Here's a couple other points of interest. We got box in here, tire, some more centipedes, bone. Show you all that. Now there's also a piece of cape, just like it shows in a comic book. And this is, see that's got like a little square peg in here, so it pops in the side. You can also remove it. Looks like in here. So curious what the throne looks like without that piece stuck to it. And next up, we got our Spawn figure. Yeah, he looks really cool. You know, I like the detail. Now I thought he was basically a Mortal Kombat 11 Spawns. All right, so we'll bring him in, and they're actually different sculpts. Even the chest pieces, it seems like the chest is bigger. Obviously, he has a lot of other kind of ridges and whatnot to match the game, where this Spawn's more flat, like the comic book or the older toy was. But the heads are more, look like this one's thinner than that one. Yeah, the biceps look different. The arm braces they're also sculpted different. We turn them this side. Yeah, the bracers and all the this one on the forearm's different than this one. You can see that. And then these match the same, but yeah, the arms are completely different. The skulls and the chain look different. Even the legs a little bit. The pouches look very similar, but this has like gold buttons painted on where this is flat red, and the big boot is also different size and different. So this one comes up, kind of rounds out. It's a lot wider, where this one's a little bit smaller. And the foot, okay, and the foot looks very, very much the same as far as the ankle bracers there. And this, the Mortal Kombat 11 figure comes with a cape, which they kind of got glued on here, and you can pop it off. It's also glued on here as well, so it's not something easy I'm going to take off and try on this figure. But if you're not familiar with that, I just kind of wanted to bring that in to show you. Now you also get this cape, the top cape piece for the Spawn that comes with the throne set. Has a skull and chain sculpted on it already. These are plastic, obviously, just like all around his waist, so not metal. And all you're going to do with this, it's just going to, has a little peg. You can see that. He's got a little peg hole back there. This is just going to pop on, and you're just going to set that peg back in the hole, lock it tight. That's pretty much it. All right, so I popped that piece back off. Let's go over some, the articulation. For who's not familiar, has seen one of these Spawns that I have in hand. It's very identical to the MK11 one I just brought in, but we got, the head back and forth, okay, and go down and up. Yeah, awesome. I'm really like, just one thing I really like with the newer Spawn stuff is the articulation. The stuff is suffering with paint and deco compared to his older statues, but it's trying to do something different. So, it's kind of the trade-off. But arms go all the way up, down, forward, back. He's got a couple different, feels like a ball, or it looks like a hinge joint in there, and that's really loose. And he also has another secondary piece to hide the gap, depending on what position you're moving the arm in. See that? Like when you want to bring your arm back out or something, this piece will adjust. The other side is the same thing. This guy also has bicep swivel. Okay, elbow. You can't see the pins. It's double elbow joints there, hinge joints. Back and forth. They can spin. He's got this, he had a cool big forearm guard with the spikes. Pretty soft. And he's also, as far as a hand, it's got a ball joint in there, which is unique. Usually they have a hinge. It's unique with the newer Mcfarlane stuff. But kind of spin back and forth, up and down, all that stuff. And the fingers are soft. There's no articulation in the fingers. The other sides are all the same, as I show you in double. Here you can see both pins because he has different, he has, well, actually has an armor piece up on here, but this side don't have it. I don't know. Okay, yeah, so the bicep spins on that one. This doesn't move. These are really sharp. And there's your hand. And then hands, and it comes with two closed, semi-open gripping hands, you want to call it. There's no other hands to change out. Moving on to our body, we got the, the torso, kind of that ab crunch, go forward, back, and twist at the waist. You got this cool kind of guard that's sculpted up in here. That's cool. Hides the aesthetics when you bend them forward or whatnot. It's got a plastic skull there instead of, well, usually it's plastic, but the chains are also, they're usually metal a lot of times in a Spawn, but these are plastic, sculpted all the way around. He's also got a skull in the back. It's pretty cool. You know, I don't mind it for what it's trying to do. So we already showed the waist. Now the legs can go all the way out. It's pretty cool. All right, we go forward and go back. Can bend all the way at the knee. It's got a double hinge joint there. The pins are showing. On the left leg, it's got, again, that pouch assembly there. It looks like it's... looks like you could get it off. I don't think it's... Looks like it's sculpted. I'm not really sure. Looks like it's glued on. You could cut that off if you want. Yeah, the leg can move a little bit in and out. And then we go down here. We got the lower shin guard there. Different, obviously, than the boot. And that doesn't spin, but does have a hinge joint at on a ball also. On the foot, looks like. Can spin, go up and down. And he also has articulation at the toe on that side. And with the right, everything's the same pretty much. Okay, bend at the knee with the big boot. He doesn't have this pouches, obviously, on that side. And you got this really cool boot, right? It's really iconic of Spawn. Spikes, you hit are really hard on it. That doesn't spin, but you do also have articulation at the foot. You can spin a little bit, and the toe as well. Right, before we set him up in the throne, just give him a little look around, some kind of battle pose position. And I did put the Mortal Kombat 11 Spawn sword in the left hand. Now, he doesn't come with any weapons, but if you're interested in what he looks like with a weapon, you know, how he balances with the figure stand, it's kind of what we're doing. So let's see how our Spawn, now we have our piece back. Well, we already had it on, but it sits in the throne. Now we got this piece I took off, and you got to kind of push this in pretty good. It's kind of, once I took it out, I disturbed it. Now I'm going to try to manipulate him in a position similar to the comic book. All right, put him up on this. With the arms up, maybe. Okay, you can, so I can push them all the way down like that. And then the legs, but they're not going to exactly... See, this is a problem whenever you get thrones. You can see with my Skeletor in the background here. These figures never sit down right, you know, what I notice. You can never get them to... You can get them either to sit and the legs are kind of like bent in a forward position instead of being more natural, or they'll sit off the throne. And my figure's having the same issue already. So I'm not really happy with that when they come out, you know, in a throne. But I guess once you pose them, you know, and it's kind of dark and you don't really see it. But this is the best I can get my Spawn to sit. I'll just push the legs out. I guess he kind of sits like that anyway in a comic. And rest this arm down, put this arm forward. Now this little piece is going to kind of rest over the arm with cape. Have him looking forward, and I mean, yeah, it's like pick your choice. If I want to sit down, the legs are going to be out. And if I want him to be more natural, folded in, he's going to sit off the seat. But I'll just leave him like that for now. Give a little look around of our Spawn, how he's sitting in the throne. And I wanted to bring in the two different Spawn thrones side by side. So this was the older release from, I think it was like 2006 or 7 or something came out. Maybe even 5. But be curious if those two look like together. Yeah, totally different sculpts as far as the thrones, and the Spawns are different, obviously. This one, a lot more artistic. No articulation, I don't think. Maybe in the arms. Yeah, the arms a little bit, and the head can move, that kind of stuff. Few points, you know, the foot. I think the boot will spin. So they had 5 or 6 points, where this guy has 22. And if you're not familiar, you've never seen this one up close. It's kind of the, well, the sculpting on it. Yeah, totally different. They're both of them. This one has, yeah, skulls up here. It's just completely different. Rats. Awesome detail. Has its own unique detail, but totally different than this one. That's for sure. So it is a completely different chair. That's cool because I thought you were gonna get like the same thing, and you don't. But yeah, definitely two unique, cool designs. That's for sure. And even the piece of cape is very much the same. Obviously, this has more ridges in it, and this is more of a flat the way it's sculpted. And this one comes in this, goes in only this far, and this one actually comes all the way up and out. Now, it would have been cool with this, like the comic book, if they added more cape and some more pieces to plug in, like the art, but they didn't. So, and this was the Spawn that's with the first release throne. Really cool. Again, limited articulation. He does have more of the comic book colors, the red in here. I think he came with the skull. Metal chains. I love that. I really wish that Spawn would have came with metal chains. Now, this piece too, I think this can come off like so. Now here's our new Spawn, and I'm curious if this old cape will fit with the metal chains. It actually does. It doesn't plug in, but look, fits pretty good. And then with that piece, let's try to sit him back in the chair, the original chair he come with, see what that looks like. Wow, that can kind of work and doesn't look bad at all. I mean, it's doesn't have the same textures and stuff as this piece, but it can work. And this is the other Spawn's cape, the new one on the older Spawn. Curious what that looks like. Works as well. And this is our new Spawn in the old throne, and he fits so much better because it's just the way the base is designed, the way it's, he can sit in there like that. You can use, I put the original piece of cape back on, but it would work with this, or you could just switch out the other one like I had it. But that looks great. He fits really good. Now, this is the older Spawn that came with the first throne, and I'm trying to sit him in the new throne. So he's already pre-posed exactly like the comic book wants you to set him up, more or less, with the arm, okay, the cape. You can see, obviously, the legs can move a little bit, but there's not much you can do with them. With the knees. And this is how he sits. He can barely sit in there. It's almost like, see, it would have been better if this had a base piece under it, just like the first throne in the background. That would have solved a lot of the issues for the Spawn's legs, I think. Otherwise, they're just hanging, so when you put it down, they don't sit well. Or the legs would have to articulate out like the new one. Okay, so I think we went over everything. My final thoughts is, I mean, they're both really cool in their own way, This one, the detail is just, it's incredible. All the stuff you have on it. It's completely unique. I like the base better on the older one, the rats. Yeah, it's just a whole different sculpt. The new one's really cool too. It has even more detail, I think, as far as, the centipedes, the guns, just different types of, junk and all the garbage mixed in. So they are both unique. I do like how the Spawn, both of them, can sit in the older throne. Where this one, I mean, it does work, but he's going to be, kind of more stretched out, and his legs are going to be like he's more relaxed. And that's okay, I guess. It works. And this Spawn is obviously, there's not much you can do with him, where the new one is highly articulated and works great in both thrones, or you can use them as just a figure stand and wherever you want to do with them. And the K pieces you can switch off. It would have been cool with the newer throne if it had some more cape pieces, like I said, but you can also buy custom capes too on eBay, where you can actually retrofit all cloth, the wire, the whole deal. And I've seen that, and you can sit them on in a throne. It can bend it all over the place, like the comics look. So, I'm thinking about doing that. But, it's all right. I'm glad I got it, and he's coming out now. So if you didn't get your chance to get your hands on original throne, a Spawn with a throne, and you want one now or a newer one with a little better sculpting and better articulation, go for it. And another way to fix this too is you can always put something, you get some kind of block, like a base or something. If you can elevate this up a little, then you can bend the legs down, fix it. So it's not the worst thing. It's just, it would have been cooler to have a longer base, but that's my final thoughts. So I hope it answers all your questions. I hope everybody's doing great. And until next time, take care.